Look who the cat dragged in.
Hey, Ken Altshuler, is that you?
My brother, I haven't seen you like in a week or 10 days.
It's Ken and Mike again, for goodness sake.
I can't tell you how many people have emailed me and said, "Can't you and Mike get back
Yeah,
together again?"
right. Yeah, can't you commandeer some radio station somewhere and do a morning show somewhere? It's not that easy.
I can only do sports if it's about Michigan
I know.
or
I know, and
pickleball.
that's what I'm doing
Pickleball,
then.
I
Yeah,
can do
and
pickleball.
right, which you've still not invited me to play with you, you prick.
Well, I gotta wait till your hip is now working
We
better.
can swear here too, can't we?
You can say whatever you.
Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna just, arbitrarily throw out "fuck," but, anyway, yeah, I just had my hip replaced, I'm 3 weeks, out, so I'm not really ready for pickleball yet, so let's leave that on the back burner,
Cool.
but, yeah, I get asked as often as you, and, of course, when I was doing, a political show on what used to be Legacy, we did the Ken and Mike Hour, and that was great,
Yeah.
but that's gone now,
Yeah.
because we're doing sports. I do have you on intermittently talking about Michigan football, which I had you on when the Wolverines were
You're
playing
the
for the
national
national championship.
champion
Yep.
Wolverines.
Yeah, and I was delighted to be invited to your house for the watch party
I
in
was,
Mich
not gonna. It may be another. Well, I'll be dead before they win another one. Unfortunately,
You don't know that. I
I
mean,
hear you. Hey, they're not in the March Madness. Of course, they had the basketball
no,
team.
no, no, Jawan Howard, that is
What
over with.
happened to him?
I think that was a nice emotional choice at the time, maybe not the most long-term thing, and as it turned out, when you do stuff with your emotions, which you as a liberal can understand because liberals, fly by the
Bleeding
seat of
hearts.
their
Bleeding
pants.
hearts. Yeah.
So anyway, so there's that. So I get asked all the time too, why don't you guys what? Hey, Ken. And so last week we were at the same event at DeMillo's, ironically, where
Yes, of
we've spent
course.
a lot of time over the years when we used to have our Christmas party before corporate got cheap on us and decided to cut that out before they fired each one of us. So we run into each other there at the Evan Gallant birthday
Yeah.
party, which was
Yeah.
really
What a
cool.
wonderful event. Yeah.
It was incredible, on leap day.
Yeah.
Um, and so the seed had been planted. We had talked about this
Yeah.
and about doing this, and we're gonna do it, damn
I
it.
think, I think our audience is clamoring for it. I'm not that, I don't want to be egotistical about it, but
Right.
you
I
know,
you
I,
nev you
what I
would never be egotistical,
never,
not you.
what I hear all the time is what is the use of listening to one side of the argument? And I
Right.
will tell you that people who watch MSNBC hear it because they want to hear what they already believe. If people watch Fox News, they
Yeah.
listen because they want to hear what they already believe.
Yeah.
What is the use if you don't listen to the other side? It's a mystery to me.
Yeah, I mean, you and I did a show together for 12 years every single day, and you are easily the most rational, sensible lefty that I've ever come across, and
And I
you
think
and
you're not insane like
I
some people.
and you and I have I was thinking, I do remember one argument that we had, I mean, a bad one. That's when you were away and I let LePage on, remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah, and
Was I
you ripped
pissed
me a
off
new
at
asshole
you?
that day, and we had it out, and that's the only time we ever fucking really went
Yeah,
at each
yeah,
other.
yeah. Well, I think we disagreed
And
at.
I earned that one.
I think at the chocolate lovers fling, we disagreed one time. I think that
Over chocolate?
you liked the chocolate that I did not like. But that was just one time, though. I think. No, you're right. The only
Yes.
thing we had
So
was about LePage.
yeah,
It's not
so I
about
mean,
LePage, but it's
it's
he
been
speaking in without me there. Yeah.
yeah, so that was my bad, and
Ah,
I took my beating like a man there.
oh, you,
Can I still say that today in 2024? I took my
yeah.
beating like a man?
You know, yeah, I was going to tell you something about a certain radio person who is settling a lawsuit with.
Oh, yes, that one I heard about. Did you get the same email I got the other day about that from a certain person
It will go
who
nuts.
hired us?
Yeah, Kerry Pahagian, what a great.
Yes.
You want to talk about somebody who knows something about radio.
The
Jeff
great
Ray,
boss,
you
the
know.
the the great all-knowing, all-seeing, and of course, back when we were a powerhouse at, our former employer, Kerry was the big dog and Jeff Wade was the second dog in command, and we were kicking ass and taking names back then, Ken.
But do think we had our moments of difficulty with management. I think they kind of wish sometimes we wouldn't say things we said.
Well, if you're not doing that, you're probably not doing your job.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're not getting, a sit down with the GM over an advertiser, and which we both did
Yeah, yeah,
for views, you probably, if you're in talk radio, you're not doing it right.
yeah.
So,
So wait, before I forget, what do you tell people what you're doing now?
well, after my very public firing, I
Well, it wasn't that public, was it?
well, I was on the it was in the
Oh, that's
paper, and
true. Well, so was mine. So was mine.
yeah, it was Ray Ruthier who called me. I had gone on a motorcycle trip with Steve DeMillo and those wild hogs up to Mount Washington,
Yeah.
where I flipped my bike on the way down the mountain, by the way,
Ah,
not wearing a helmet, no less. Anyway, so that's where I went the day
live free
after I
or die, man. Live free or die.
yeah, I was not ready to go. So anyway, I had some severance and I ran that out. And then a friend of mine called me from Bill Dodge in Westbrook. He was the GM there. Dave Lamar said, "You know what? I think you'd be a great car salesman, and I love cars, and I can schmooze with the best of them. But you know what? I fucking hated
Really?
selling cars.
Really?
I hated it. There's too much idle time. You're just standing around the showroom."
Yeah.
And I 6 weeks I quit. And I thanks to Dave, I just
Yeah.
couldn't do it. And I love cars, and
Yeah.
I had great products to
Yeah.
sell there. They have all, and they're great people.
Yeah.
The Dodge people are Win and his sister, whose name I can't remember. They're great. Anyway, so then I went to work at Wex, and
Well, that's where you met Patty Gallant, right? At
yeah,
Wax.
Patty was there. But of course, we had known her before that because
Right.
you were connected to her, and
Right.
we had gone to I think a memorial for Evan back then. Anyway, so I went to work at Wex. They were great. Hated the job. Loved the people. That's where I had a heart attack. That's where I had my stroke. And I survived both of them.
How
And
old are you?
then
How old are you?
I'm 63 now.
Because
I
I
was
am
50.
71 and I haven't had a stroke or a heart
Well,
attack.
you haven't abused your body like I did for 60 of those
But
years.
then again, my wife at 56 had a heart attack.
I
Go
know.
figure. So, you know.
So I survived that, and then in April of 2019, Jay Hansen called me from Augusta, who owns Mix 107.9, True Country 93.5, and he owned the signal of WSKW, which back in the day I actually worked for in an all sports format. He wanted me to come back up to my old stomping grounds and do a political talk show, which I did on Legacy 1160 for what, 2 years, two plus
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
You were part of that for the last few months.
Yeah.
That is something they decided they wanted to get away from, and we
Did
wanted
not
to.
pay. I mean, did we?
Advertisers were a little shy
Yeah.
about my crazy wackiness, and also my friend John James, who came on after me and did a show from 10 to noon. John and I,
That was a good
um,
show. I
yeah.
thought the show was very good.
So anyway, we flipped the format. They asked me, "Would you mind if we flip the format to all sports?" Well, that would just be awful. So 40 years after I break into radio because I want to do sports, but there's no place to do it full time, so I end up doing all this other stuff. I finally get to do sports full time. So that's what I'm doing now. I do a 2-hour sports talk show, Opening Drive, every weekday morning, 7 to 9, and I do about 200 live play-by-play events a year, which is
Wow.
glorious.
And is it a call-in show?
Yep, call in, text in, that kind of thing. So that's
People
my
call in.
story.
Do people call in and still talk about Bill Belichick and Tom Brady?
Yes, a lot of
Yes.
talk about that and the dynasty and the movie that's on the documentary. So, what have you been up to?
I'm
Breaking up
practicing.
families?
I'm breaking. What God puts together, I put aside. That's my.
You are a family attorney. Remember
That's
that.
my
When
mission in
people say
life.
to me, "Is Ken? He's a divorce." No, he's a family attorney, a lawyer.
I tell people I'm a divorce lawyer. I divorce people. That's what I do.
Are you still the grand poobah of the American
No,
matrimonial? No.
last year I was president in 2012, and then you stay on a few years, and then the last year's president asked me to be his parliamentarian.
Ooh.
So I had to travel 8 times again. And when that ended in November, I said, I'm taking a year off. I didn't
Are
go to
you
the park.
president now? Are you president like emeritus now or something
No,
like that?
oh, I'm a
No?
past president, which is,
Okay. All right.
yeah, I'm an elder statesman.
But you're 71. When we started working together, I was 44, so you would have been 50.
I was 50.
Yeah, because we started in 2004.
Wow.
So,
Wow. I was
you
a
s
young man.
I mean, you don't look any different now than you did then.
Very good.
Um, are you not, like, ever gonna retire?
I'm really not. Yeah, I will retire when I die right here on this desk.
Yeah, and that I will retire when I die behind a cracking a microphone open.
Now, it may be while I'm doing a podcast, which would be interesting.
Right.
It
So, we
would make
keep
one of
on
these.
being
Yeah.
asked, and so here we are, damn it, and we're gonna do it every
All right,
week.
so let's do what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a podcast. I'm doing video. Now look at me. I'm all choked up. I'm
Right.
coughing. Well, I don't know what video is gonna play. We'll have to see.
That's a lovely fern behind you, by the way.
That's Linda's fern. That's not mine. Remember the show with the Martin Mull called Fernwood
Oh,
Tonight?
I Ken, that's my guilty pleasure now. I'm watching it again on
Oh, come
YouTube.
on, really?
Oh, it's fucking hilarious. And Fred Willard, oh my God.
Well, Fred Willard in the
May God rest his soul.
the
What
best in show was his
oh,
best movie he ever
without a
did.
doubt. But I am listen to this, before I go to bed every night now, I'm watching one episode of Fernwood Tonight with Martin Mull, and it's
He
so
was
goddamn
brilliant.
funny.
And another great show that kind of is like that is the Larry Saunders
Oh,
show.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
It was fabulous show. I mean, those
With
shows you can't.
the incredible Rip Torn.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was, but he was a little crazy, man. He was
yeah.
very crazy. So we're going to talk about politics, not today,
Oh,
but
yeah, yeah.
I'm going to ask you the next, and we're going to try and drop this. I'm going to try and drop these on Wednesday, and then we'll do some. You're more tech savvy than I am, but at least I know how to drop a thing. But I'm going to ask you a lot about Trump. I have a lot of
Mhm.
questions to ask you
I
about,
have I have answers.
and I know you'll challenge me on Biden, but I'm going to tell you up front, I'm not a wild fan.
Mm.
Mainly because of his age. I mean, I think that he looks really old and feeble and senile.
You know what? We've gotta get some sort of age limit
Absolutely,
for all of them,
absolutely,
no matter what office you're running for. I mean, this is, we Trump is friggin' what, 78? Biden's 81 going on 101. Janet
that's
Mills is a 70 whatever.
and
Eh,
look, I'm 71 and I think I'm very capable and competent, but I shouldn't be president of the United States at this
right,
age.
right.
I really think that you should not be able to serve after 70. I think that you should between 35 and 70. There's a big range there. Get somebody in their 45 or 50 years old in there. I
Yeah,
also think for
I mean, I
president for one term for 6 years too. I firmly believe.
yeah, that might be the way to go too. So, I mean, but, since we stopped working together at the radio station in 16, so much has happened, so much has changed. The landscape has changed a whole hell of a lot. Wokeness has gotten
Yeah,
deeper, longer, and the divide, I think, between the sides is worse than ever now.
absolutely, absolutely.
Um, and so we're going to try to bridge the gap here.
We're going to show
Oh,
how
we're going to get feisty. Don't worry.
well, and we disagree, but that doesn't mean that we can't listen to each other. And I don't think you and I ever didn't listen to the other opinion. I mean, I think we,
I didn't listen to yours. I admit it.
but I did teach you one thing.
What?
747.
Oh, jumbo jet time.
I couldn't believe that I had a radio parlance
Yeah, yeah.
equipment like that, and because I don't think there's anything in radio. And by the way, let me close by saying this: you should be in the main broadcasters Hall of Fame. It is a travesty
Oh,
that you're not in it. I'm going to write a letter again. I did that once, but I guess I have to write them every year. And we're
right.
getting you in there because you know what? If Chuck Igo's in there, you should be.
And we love Chuck
I
Igo,
love
man.
Chuck. Chuck deserves to be in there, but you do too. And that's a
All
I
right.
don't. I was only on 18 years. Who cares? But you're a lifetime.
Campaign begins now, Ken.
Okay.
Pilot for Hall of Fame.
Pilot for Hall of Fame, not
I
the
wanna
Rock
be
and
a
Roll Hall of Fame, because that'll be another discussion we have. Because guess what? Jethro Tull is still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
all
after,
right.
I mean,
So
we discussed this for,
that is a great tease for the next episode
well,
of News to Me, Ken and Mike again.
Sounds good. All right, but we'll talk again next week.